You you think manifestation is about writing things down 3 times a day? You're missing the point entirely. We're in the middle of a golden age right now. Not NASA rockets and Trump, whatever, but a human awakening. Humanity is waking up to its own power. And most people have no idea that it's happening. I'm going to show you why every spiritual tradition has basically been saying the same thing. Why modern psychology is suddenly talking about this and taking it seriously, same as quantum physics, and why you, yes, you, are the universe waking up to yourself and becoming aware of yourself. So the golden age, let's just get clear on what that means in this context, because there's a bunch of different ones. So I'm not talking about flying cars, cities on Mars, anything like that. I'm talking about the vast majority of people are actively working on their consciousness, their inner world. They're pursuing self-actualization in an active, measurable capacity, right? If you think about Maslow's hierarchy, normally that's right at the top. What I'm saying is, like, we are in the beginning phase where that is the case. So for some context and some examples, so Rosicrucians had a personal path to connect with Christ. Gnostics have the inner path. Kabbalists have their thing, which eludes me right now. Yogis, it's all about, well, becoming one, union. That's what yoga is about, which is the same awareness. Buddha, basically teaching the same thing. The Taoists teaching the same thing. More recently, we have people like Neville Goddard, who is giving a psychological interpretation on the Bible with hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of it actually being useful when you apply it. So these aren't different paths. I mean, they are different paths, but they're better thought of as different languages, right? Because the culture at the time had a certain ethos and a certain zeitgeist that was prevalent. And when these texts were written, they were done so relevant to that era. And we are now in a fairly different era, and we are becoming aware of this. Like, it is becoming increasingly apparent that something is wrong with our culture. We are putting the wrong things as priorities, and we have strayed. And as more and more people begin to wake up, for lack of better words, we're seeing new types of businesses, new types of housing, new types of social enterprises starting, grassroots movements that are literally ushering in the way for us to have a society and culture where humanity is the focus, like well-being is the focus, not profit and consumption. Shock horror, right? So the shift is happening now, right? Like, there is a mass awakening taking place. And this is more true now than it ever has been, I think. And there's other people who are talking about this. That's fine. This is my take on this. An example: Psychology Today published an article talking about higher states being real. Evolution is framed as the universe awakening to itself. What I find easier, because like psychology and like quantum physics, they're great for like, oh yeah, there's something to this, but it's so much more impactful when you have an experience of this for yourself. Like when you have incontrovertible, concrete proof that you did XYZ and ABC happened, even though it shouldn't have, right? Like, when that happens in your life, you begin to create this stockpile of evidence that gets very hard to ignore, and that's super useful because it then begins to get a lot easier to go, oh, I am creating my life, right? And it becomes a knowing, which it needs to do. So Neville said this in the 1960s. Modern psychology is saying the same thing. Evolution research is saying the same thing. Science is catching up to what the mystics have known for thousands of years, and many people have said something similar to that. So imagination is God. Like, this is the simplest way to think about it. I do like to sort of wax philosophical about this, especially when I'm having like a private conversation with someone. But like the easiest way to convey this is it doesn't matter what your relationship to God is. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in God, it's irrelevant. So long as you are aware, then you are an aspect of the universe experiencing something, right? And the way to think about this in terms of the word God is everything, and you are a part of everything, and you have the capacity, albeit atrophied, to use that creative force. I'm really simply putting it out there. Like, that is the hard truth, so to speak. Your imagination is how you do this. And we live in a culture in the West, when I say we, I mean like Westerners, where our imagination has been corrupted and hijacked. And so what we create tends to be what other people tell us, what we're programmed to create, habitual stuff for the good of others, and I mean that in like the company, the business, the job. Like, rarely do we spend time imagining good for ourselves. And some people might be like, oh yeah, well, that's super selfish. Like, yes, it is super selfish. It's less selfish than someone saying, come work a job that will crush your soul and I will feed you because I want my vision to come true. You see the kind of insanity of the modern world? I'm not saying we don't need jobs. I'm not saying I know the answer to the economy or anything like that. I don't. But I am saying it's really important to make time for yourself. And it is selfish, and it should be, because you're the only one living your life. So to get back on track, not metaphorically, but literally, your imagination is God, and you are telling it what to create based on your emotional states. That is the language it uses. And personal experience as a male growing up in New Zealand, which is, somewhat behind the US in some regards and perhaps ahead in others, but either way, the impression I got was that it wasn't okay for me to express my feelings at all. Like, that is literally what I grew up with. Like, just bear the burden, and from what I see online, this is true across most of Western culture. So for guys, at the very least, it's very challenging to begin to change this. But you can change it. It's really important. And that's your role, in a way, is to change it. And that is why you are living in the golden age, because we have the capacity to make it by choosing it emotionally. There's other stuff I wanted to cover, but I'm aware I'm already sort of getting long and a little rambly. But I really want to point out, like, you can test this for yourself. There are heaps of different ways to test it. Probably one of the easiest ways is one I heard from Abraham Hicks, which is to, at the start of your day, get like a bit of notepaper or something, and write down three things you don't care about. But if you saw, you would be like, okay, that's weird. Like, so, you know, if you work in a city, for example, some colored stained glass might be something you wouldn't normally see. Butterflies might not be something you normally see. If you work in a very corporate environment and you don't go to the gym, you know, someone wearing orange trainers shoes might be just totally not something that would happen, right? So, but you don't care about these things either, right? So you write those down, and you basically, and you can write down, universe, show me these, right? That's the simplest way. You can also just have a conversation with the universe, but I would suggest you write it down, because one, it's a physical action, and writing does stuff in your brain neurologically that is better than just speaking. But more importantly, two, it gives you something to go back to at the end of the day, to look and actually genuinely ask, like, did this happen? Because it's that looping back to it that is going to give you the feedback of, like, yes, this is real. What you are imagining has the capacity to impact your experience in life, literally day-to-day life. And that has profound effects for your life as a whole. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm a few steps on this journey. I also can't stay quiet. I'm starting to just talk to people about this, and I've been putting off making a channel about this for a couple years, and yeah, this was the reboot. This is my initial, I'm just gonna sit down and start. So if you watch this, and you watch this far, thank you so much. You can do this. I will share more about my story and background and successes in future videos, but I really wanted to record this and get it out. So what I'll leave you with is, if you are curious to see where this is going, please like and subscribe. If you want me to talk about something specific, put it in the comments. And if you are aware that you are awakening, which is such a weird thing to say, type awakening in the comments, so I can hopefully see, you know, I know I'm not the only one, but we can start to talk, like, oh, there's more of us, yay. I'm not alone. All right. I'll leave you with this one last thing. Yeah, there will be some of you who will see this or future videos, and this won't make any sense, and that's totally fine. Don't worry. There's some of you who are going to see this, and you're going to notice something, and I can't tell you what that is, because I don't know. But you're going to notice something about me and what I'm talking about, and it is going to resonate with you. And I don't really have the language, like, I'm not sure how to talk about this with the vocabulary I have. I don't even know if English has the appropriate words for it. Not that my vocab is that big, but anyway. If you're one of those people, and you must be if you're still watching this, chances are you're down for this. You're down for the same thing. and there is more. And if that's the case, definitely reach out, because I'm looking for my people, my team, and I have a vision, and I'm going to build it. And I know some of you are here for that. So yeah, go create your own golden age. It is well worth it, for all the tears, all the sadness, all the heartache, all the pain. It is a beautiful world. And it is well worth letting yourself experience joy and bliss. You will need to let yourself experience less pleasant emotions to get there, though. Just, yeah. All right. See you next time, and thank you so much.